Hi, everyone. We're group 15, and as Ariel said, it's data visualization to prioritize child and family health. And this summer, we worked to create an interactive dashboard using R and R Shiny to communicate and visualize data from Yolo County, California. And our goal was to create several resources for residents in terms of food resources, transportation, health providers, community providers, and then also some like demographic map visualizations for researchers to potentially be able to use. And so kind of our goal in doing this with the team at UC Davis and also with Resilient YOLO, which is an organization that came to them wanting this to happen, is to create kind of like a one-stop shop that has all of these resources in one place that's easy to use. And so that was kind of the first part of this project, was to wireframe the dashboard and come up with resources that we thought would be especially useful for residents and researchers. And then also to find data sets that were current and accurate so that whatever we're distributing and communicating would be, I guess, accurate, but also updatable data sets so that this project could be maintained for the future. And then we also wanted to make it accessible in terms of different languages, and also to be able to package the code and dashboard, and then also publish it for to make it publicly accessible.
So for the data, we use data from the American Community Survey, which is part of the U.S. Census Bureau, but it happens annually, so we can continue to update the data and keep it as accurate as possible. The maps to the right were made using this data, and we mapped several variables based on census tract in Yolo County. We also use data from the California Health and Human Services data portal, which allowed us to look at medical providers, data on childcare, and WIC and other variables. And then we also had a team of UC Davis students who were organizing this data for us in a Notion page. They also created some Excel sheets and were able to have information on local resources to Yolo County, which was very helpful for free clinics and other variables that aren't publicly available. So for results, we created a Shiny app with many tabs, including finding healthcare providers, childcare, and resources for food and transportation, and community organizations in Yolo County. We also wanted to make sure that everyone was able to find data they need. So we had information specific for low-income residents. We also translated the page into Spanish and Russian, which are the most popular languages in Yolo County other than English.
In conclusion, we created an interactive dashboard with 10 plus subpages, including one informative homepage in 3 languages, as Shannon and Greg just mentioned. And it contains 100 plus resources and 2,000 plus medical providers. Our users could easily search for all kinds of resources based on what they need and their locations. Our app will provide resources in different dimensions, including map visualizations, table data, as well as link to external website. As for the organization, we try to keep our work structured, so it's easier for the UC Davis team to maintain the app. So in our GitHub repo, we have a 4-part. The first one is called R. It contains R script, run app.r, which allows the user to run the app with a single command. The second part is called app. It contains 2 R file, app.r, which is the code of the Shiny app, including the UI and server. And another one is providers.r, which is a source file that cleans the data from our data folder. As for the data folder, we have 2 data folders. The first one is called data raw. It contains downloads.r, which downloads data from our census API to make deployment of the app quicker. And it will need to be updated annually to ensure the accuracy. And this file will only need to be run when the census data changes for updates. And then we have a data folder, which contains the data saved after running the file downloads.r. As Gaurav just mentioned, we make our code into an R package so that our user could easily launch the app locally. As long as they have their RStudio installed, they don't have to pre-install any R packages or download any data. They can just run the app with a single line of code. And lastly, we also pass the R command check, which detects some potential problems running the app and ensure our packages works well.
And we'd like to thank Data Plus for the opportunity, and also the team at UC Davis for working with us weekly to make sure that we could make this possible. And if you want to see a demo of the dashboard or our GitHub repo, we'd be happy to show that.
Yeah,
take any questions.
Please go ahead and show us the dashboard as well. We'd love to see that.
Sure, just share that.
While you're getting that up, I'm curious if you could share a little bit of your experience working with a team of students collecting data from you while you're also collecting data on your own, and just what was that kind of like? And was it the case that the team was already collecting data before you started working, or were you kind of directing them, or what was that relationship like?
So the team at UC Davis had been working on this project for at least since last summer, finding data sources and compiling them for based on the different categories: food, transportation. A lot of it were health providers and community providers, because of Resilient YOLO, that organization that had come to the team. And so they had a lot of data sets already that we were able to kind of look through and utilize. But we were also trying to find data that was formatted into like a CSV or an Excel file, because obviously that's what we're able to use in R. So I think that was kind of a little bit of maybe a speed bump at the beginning of the project in terms of figuring out exactly which data sets we could use. And, you know, for food providers, it's a lot more difficult to find updated current data as opposed to maybe healthcare providers. So we kind of had to learn as we went a little bit, but it was definitely very helpful to have a team that knew YOLO County, knew these organizations and providers, so that they could kind of double check and guide us. But then once we had that set up, it was pretty streamlined. But here we can show our dashboard pretty quickly. Junbo, Shannon, feel free to cut me off if you want to say anything, but this is our homepage. Like Junbo said, it can be easily translated into Spanish and Russian. And this kind of is a quick overview. And then we have, here we go. Here we have our Find Providers page, and you can choose different insurance providers and different types of care. Maybe we can do family medicine, and it'll refresh and show a table with some information about the providers, and then also map them around YOLO County. And we have some similar resources like for childcare, depending on the city. And this is an example of how the team at UC Davis was able to help us incorporate like affordable childcare into this. And here, like this, we were able to map WIC authorized vendors. We wish we could have, mapped farmers markets and affordable food options, but those data sets were tough to come by, especially because this is Yolo County specific. But that's a future goal of this project, perhaps. But yeah, that's a quick kind of run through of our dashboard. But I guess while we're at it, here's our GitHub repository with some simple instructions to run a couple lines of code and be able to run this dashboard for anyone who has R installed.
Yeah, because we talked to our UC Davis team, and we decided to publish this website in UC Davis server in a couple weeks. So currently we make it an R package. So anyone who have R Studio could run them locally to see like what it looks like and give some advice, things like that.
This is great. Thank you. So what sort of challenges did you guys face over the summer with your project? Can you talk about what was the most difficult thing that you had to work through?
Here, I can go back to sharing the poster as well. But I think one thing that was difficult is that we could never meet in person as a group. So a lot of the planning, and of course, when we're coding in R, it's not possible to work like we do in a Google Doc. We have to commit and push and pull our code and kind of work on our own a little bit. So I think some of that communication was something we had to work on, and it got better as we went on, but it was something new to at least me to kind of work on my own like that. But in some ways it was nice because we were able to easily split up the work and focus on what our strengths, I guess, in terms of certain parts of the coding or creating like our wireframe that we have here. But it was definitely, I think, one thing that was hard for me was having to work just only remotely on this project.
Yeah, it's the second year we've had to do that, and it's definitely different than we normally like to do it. Hopefully next year we can get people working together. It's a lot more intimate, but hopefully it was still valuable. How about the other team members? Did you guys have different challenges, or was it the same?
I mean, for me, the most difficult part is because we are creating a new dashboard. So at the very beginning, I'm not sure what the UC Davis team expected and what we can do. So I mean, I really appreciate Jennifer and all UC Davis team. We communicate a lot to finally decide we need to get the framework down, and yeah, I think after that we are pretty much know what we want to do and know what we can do, and yeah, I think that's most difficult part for me.
I think, well, I definitely learned a lot of our Shiny and different formatting techniques, and also using the API for the American Community Survey and just searching for data ourselves was difficult at first. And yeah, I think just bringing the UC Davis's idea, their team's ideas to life with coding was sometimes difficult, but I think we did pretty good.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, yes, as the person from UC Davis, you guys did amazing. One thing that I'm not sure if I missed, but they presented this, their dashboard to our Resilient YOLO collaborators. And this was like Yolo County Office of Education, lots of different community organizations, and everyone is just like like little heart eyes, like getting to see all these things all put together. And it's already, we're already in the process of getting this moved over to our UC Davis servers so that it will be publicly available, and we're going to keep building on it. And we're just so excited and pleased with what our Duke students have been able to do this summer. It's great.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jennifer. I was just about to ask you what you were going to do with this work, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to keep building on it too. Now they've got this great, framework in place, and so many things already here. And then we have all these projects kind of in place to just build on this still. So
that's wonderful. Yay. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Well, first, really wonderful job, everyone. I've been a little bit familiar with similar work that's been happening in Durham County for Duke Health. And one thing that's kind of come up is that sometimes the only thing worse than having no information is like having the wrong information. And I was just curious if the dashboard that you created has any kind of feedback system to like report that maybe an address is no longer correct, or I know like in the nonprofit world, like people move and switch jobs all the time. So I'm just curious if the dashboard and our Shiny has good capabilities for that kind of need.
Yeah, that's something that we've been discussing, especially towards the end of this project. And with some, the WIC approved vendors that I showed, as soon as we showed that to the team, they kind of noticed a couple of those addresses had changed, or for the childcare, when we showed the Davis County ones, some members of the team noticed like, oh, that administrator had left or whatnot. So that's something that potentially the undergraduates at UC Davis who have been compiling this data could go back in and update and modify, but it's something that we've kind of had to accept as much as we can with like the map visualizations. That's something that we can really be careful about in terms of how we're visualizing data. But with some of the data sets, we've had to just do our best to kind of avoid those issues, but they're a little bit unavoidable perhaps because of just the nature of the data sets. But yeah, that's definitely something that we've had to discuss and figure out.
Yeah, and so one thing we've done is we created like two folders in our two data folders in our GitHub repo, so that we could refresh and update our data from the census API annually. But yeah, I mean the data set from the census is not 100% accurate, of course. So yeah, we need to figure that out. And as for the feedback, we have a contact us button at the homepage, as also at the sidebar, so that if there's any questions or our users need some further help, they could definitely contact our UC Davis team so that they could know that.
And maybe Junbo, you could, do you want to mention anything about the GitHub repo where it automatically checks that the app is like working and running, which Olivier helped to set up?
Yeah, so yeah, I really want to thank our project manager, Olivier. He helped us a lot with the GitHub structure and publishing our website. And so one thing is that we pass the R command check, which is kind of like a automatic check system in R, which it checks our code works fine and help us to find out some common project automatically. Otherwise, we have to like check it the hard way. So after that, after we pass our command check, basically saying like our code will work in most cases. So yeah.